How much does a game and an outcome, you get the win, but how much does a game like last Saturday change the course of a season?
Well, I think you learn a lot. I think from a coaching standpoint, you get to know your team a little better. I think from the player standpoint, the leadership of your team, I think they understand, you know, that maybe our focus and our attention to detail wasn't where it needed to be, and it's a bit of a wake-up call to some degree.
I'm the only offensive captain, so that offensive performance, I put that on my shoulders. That's my fault. And just to make sure that doesn't happen again, just make sure those guys know, like, you have to prepare every single day. It does not matter who you're going against, because, I mean, a show, it'll sneak up on you. And we were lucky that it didn't bite us, but it's way nicer to be 3-0 than 2-1.
Devin Gardner, I mean, the talent is apparent. He's very fun to watch, but sometimes he's his own worst enemy. The turnovers have been an issue. How have you seen him now through 3 games adapt to this role as the guy here?
Well, there's obviously times when you're going, I wish you wouldn't have thrown that ball, or your ball security needs to be better, or whatever it might be. But, you know, there's a lot of times where he's making plays because of the ability that he has, and some of it, you know, is just part of what he does.
Does he make you sometimes look through your hand and say, oh, actually, good play? I mean, how much does he leave you on the edge?
No, usually it's a good play. It really is. And, you know, you go back through 3 games and take the good ones out and then take the bad ones out, and there'd be more good than bad. We just got to eliminate some of the decision-making that's not effective for us as a team.
How much do you talk about an environment like Saturday with some of the younger guys?
They got a taste of it against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And, well, they got a major taste, 115,000 people. Someone says a taste, that's like a whole pie right there. So they understand, but they also need to understand the last few years we've played on the road, it's been not very good at all. We've played awful. If we want to be the kind of caliber team we want to be, if we want to represent Michigan the way Michigan should be represented, and that's one thing we have to change.
The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
For students at the University of Connecticut, going to a home football game is not a simple task. First, they board buses on their campus and stores. Then they ride 30 minutes to their home stadium, Rentschler Field in East Hartford, where tonight their Huskies are also faced with a not-so-simple task as they host the University of Michigan. A sizable Wolverine cheering section will be on hand tonight, and Michigan fans are asking which team will show up, the one that defeated Notre Dame or the one that barely squeaked by Akron last week.
Marvelous September rivalry. Michigan and Notre Dame.
Breaks a tackle, comes free, heads in zone, forget about it. Reese from the middle, deflected, intercepted. Fires, touchdown! Zips have the lead in the big house.
Nobody lays a finger on him. Touchdown, Michigan. Pressure coming, pass in the end zone. Incomplete. Michigan survives.
Welcome everyone to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows. Tonight, the largest crowd in the 10-year history of Rentschler Field is expected. Many of them will be cheering for the 15th-ranked Michigan Wolverines as they try to go to 4-0 with a win over the UConn Huskies, who are looking for their first win of the season. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman. We'll be joined in just a moment by Shannon Spake. It's certainly been a very interesting 2 weeks for the Michigan Wolverines. The rousing win at home against a record crowd against Notre Dame in front of that big crowd. And then Akron came to town last week. They, by their own admission, were embarrassed by the way they performed, but it was a win. So for the second week in a row, they're playing a team you'd expect them to hammer, and you would expect they wouldn't look past this opponent tonight.
Yeah, I look at this team, Sean, and they're close to being really good, and it all starts with Devin Gardner. He has to do 2 things. One, he has to keep managing the game and use his feet. He's the most dynamic quarterback, or one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the country. It seems like we say that every week. The thing he has to do is protect the football. This is Devin's 9th start In the previous 8 starts, he's had at least 1 turnover. So if he manages and plays smart football, this offense can be very, very good.
A big reason why they barely squeaked by against Akron, it was Gardner's 4 turnovers in that game last week against the Zips. They had to have a goal line stand to hang on to beat an Akron team that has won 1 game in each of the previous 3 seasons. It was an interesting week in Ann Arbor. A moment ago, Shannon Spake spoke with Brady Hoke.
Coach, last week, despite the win, your players used the word embarrassing to describe their performance in that game. You had them in pads on Sunday because you said you didn't think that they played tough. What have you seen out of them during the week that proves to you that they are going to play tough here tonight?
Well, we had a really good week, and, you know, our goal is to improve every time we take the field, and we didn't do that last week. So we tried to make up for that on Sunday and had a good physical practice, and seniors have been great.
Taylor Lewan showed up with a fashion statement on Tuesday. He said the walking boot was a fashion statement. What was that all about, and where is he right now?
Well, he's fine. He practiced Wednesday, Thursday. He tweaked it a little bit on Saturday, but he's okay.
Now, I know last week proved that you can never underestimate a team. So what is it about this UConn team? Where do you see their strengths?
Well, I think number one, I think offensively they're starting to hit their stride a little bit. Defensively, they're big front. We've got to be able to run the ball. We got to prove that we can move people off the line of scrimmage.
38 first and second year players here for Michigan. Brady Hoke said maybe we should bring a nanny. That's a full-time job.
That is a full-time job, believe me.
Sean?
And it is a concern for Brady. It's a young Michigan team, and this is their first road game of the season against the UConn team that's playing its 3rd home game of the year. The first 2 haven't gone well. They've lost to Towson and to Maryland. They're 0-2. And Chris, every week we go into meetings with coaches before the game. They talk about we have to run the ball and we have to stop the run, and UConn has done neither to this point in the year.
Well, let's talk about how they can run the ball. First of all, they're 57.5 yards per game, ranked 122nd, second to last in all of college football. Lyle McCombs has to be the key. He's their stud running back, and in order for them to get yards, he has to be able to make people miss. He's been able to do that in the past, but so far this year, he's not. And the offensive line basically has to sustain blocks. They're coming off their blocks too fast, and defenders are rallying to tackle Lyle.
Only Hawaii has had a harder time running the football this year. UConn hoping for a big win that will turn its season around. We'll have more from East Hartford in a moment.
The Nissan pregame rush with John Saunders and Jesse Palmer is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Now the script's about to kick off. This party looks whack. Let's take it back to straight hip-hop and start it from scratch. I'm about to bloody this track up. Everybody get back. That's why my opinions are bad, because my rhymes on the tag. It's like I get with addiction. I'm about to like a magician. Critics, I turn up. Got them still on the fence, whether to but quick to get impaled when I tell them so sick, I'm looking pale. Oh, that's my about to go ahead. Shout out to let's bring it back to that vintage slim beer. The order MC in mixed with the Vinci and MC Rin. And I don't mean stem piece free beer. Been public enemy since you thought PE was Jim Bear.
Shoes off, let your head out.
All night long.
Pull your beard out, just weird out.
All night long. Rock this house until we knock it down. So turn the volume loud. Cause it's been to the ears. And break the pace up like crazy. Let yourself go. Let yourself go. Life's too short to not go.
And we're back at Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Michigan on the road for the first time this year. Devin Gardner will have to wait as Michigan won the toss and deferred, so the Wolverines will kick off. Matt Weil, who doubles as the punter, will kick it away to Taylor Mack and Deshaun Fox. Overflow crowd here. They added more than 2,000 bleacher seats to accommodate the interest, about 42,000 in-house. And the kickoff through the back of the end zone. A little bit of a breeze at the back of Michigan here in the first quarter. And here comes Connecticut. The offense struggling through the first 2 weeks of the season. Chandler Whitmer is their quarterback, junior from Noonan, Georgia. Second year as the starter. averaging 278 yards per game. That's not a bad number, but they've been throwing it with great regularity because they haven't been able to run the football at all. They're playing without their best wide receiver, Shaquem Phillips. So here's Lyle McCombs. As Chris said, they need to get him going. He's had success in the past, rushed for more than 1,100 yards 2 years ago, but very little doing in the running game so far this year. They got 3 just across the 27-yard line.
And take a look at Lyle. He does have the ability to make people miss. For one reason or another, he's not been able to do that. And a lot of it is timing, Sean, seeing holes, and he's not hitting the right hole, so he's not in sync with his offensive line, so there's zero rhythm in that running game.
It is a veteran offensive line. Play action fake, and a man wide open, the tight end, Sean McQuillan. He's out to the 47-yard line. The 20-yard gain. Thomas Gordon made the tackle.
Well, right here, you're going to isolate number 97, Brennan Byer. Brennan peeks in the backfield. Anytime you have somebody shooting up that seam, as a linebacker, you must carry him through the seam to help your safeties. Good job by Chandler Whitmer. Throwing a dime to start the game.
Marked it at the 46. McCombs shifts back into the backfield. Whitmer, quick throw, caught in midfield by Jeremy Davis, and then he got planted by Blake Countess, the outstanding cornerback who has 3 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. Here are impact players for UConn.
We have Lyle McCombs. We already talked about Lyle, about getting it going. The best receiver playing tonight, Jeremy Davis. He wants to get at least 10 catches, according to TJ Wieston. On defense, Yalwin Smallwood all over the place.
Whitmer throws, dangerous pass, hanging in the air, intended for John Green. Thomas Gordon was eyeing an interception. They're without Shaquem Phillips, who has 15 catches in their first 2 games, by far UConn's most productive wide receiver, out with a hamstring injury. Not even dressed, as you see, but on the sideline. He's 7th in the country in receiving yards per game, so that is a big blow. It's a very young wide receiving core tonight. Max DiLorenzo in at running back now, more of a power back on 3rd and 7. He stayed in to block, and the pass is batted down to the line of scrimmage by Chris Wormley, the defensive end.
A nice job and a good start. There's been a lot of criticism about Michigan's pass rush, about not getting there. This time Coach Madison dials up the zone pressure. If you're not going to get there, you're able to recognize throwing lanes and be able to get your hands up, just like number 43 Wormley did. Outstanding effort and good recognition on hands up in the throwing lane.
Cole Wagner on to punt. He's been very inconsistent this year, usually a pretty steady punter. His 3rd year as the starter. Drew Dillio back deep. They came after it and almost got it. Line drive punt. Fair catch made at the 20 by Dillio. Just a 30-yard kick into the breeze. Pleasant night here in the capital of Connecticut. There is the chance of rain before the ball game is over, perhaps even heavy rain late in the game. Devin Gardner is the quarterback. As Chris said, making his 9th career start. He's their leading rusher. They've had a hard time getting the running game going with their running backs as well.
In this offense now, Borges finally has the offense that he wants in. You want your running back to be the leading rusher, not your quarterback. It's more of a pro-style offense.
Try to get Fitzgerald Toussaint going. And he's stacked up by an inspired UConn defense. Chris, the players we talked to yesterday for the Huskies believe they're a lot better than the 0-2 record. 5-7 each of the last 2 years. They thought they'd be better this year, perhaps a bowl team. And Paul Pasqualoni, who's on the hot seat now here in Connecticut, believes his team will perform better tonight.
Well, and there's signs of that, Sean. If you watch your first 2 games on film, they do flash. They flash good things, but it's been a lack of consistency throughout those first 2 ball games that have cost them those games.
They're one of the best rushing defenses in the country last year. They're one of the worst this year. Man open, Devin Funchess, and he's out of bounds at the Michigan 36. Chased out by Jefferson Ashiru. It's a 14-yard gain.
Yeah, Ashiru is starting tonight for the first time, and it's a matchup that they exploit right away, knowing that there's a new starter in there and they get a dynamic playmaker like Devin Funchess one-on-one. They'll look for that all night, and believe me, the UConn coaches, they respect Funchess. They love that kid.
And they talked a lot about him. Knew he was a big weapon they'd have to deal with tonight. Out of the pistol now, Gardner with Fitzgerald Toussaint behind him. Running room for Toussaint. He's to the 44. Good gain on first down. He got 8. Tymir Brown, the safety, made the tackle. And here are some impact players for the Wolverines.
Well, Tucson has to get it going, like you said, Sean. You don't want your quarterback as the leading rusher. The athletic Jeremy Gallon, big playmaker. And we talked about Devin Funchess, a nightmare matchup for linebackers and safety because of his speed at tight end.
Marked it at the 43. Second down and 3 for Michigan. 4-man rush. Gardner throws. A man open and a first down. Out to the 50-yard line goes Tucson. Tymir Brown made the tackle. Good for a gain of 7.
I like the play calling by Al Borges so far. Even throwing the football, Sean, not a lot downfield. You want to get his confidence back after turning the ball over 4 times. You're giving him easy reads and easy throws, and as he gets into rhythm, he'll start jacking it down the field as the game goes on.
Well, Borges in his 3rd season in Michigan was with Brady for 2 years at San Diego State. Here's Dennis Norfleet. He drags tacklers down to the 37. Powerful run by a young man who's just 5'7" and 169 pounds. He got 13.
Just pure speed right here. Anytime Norfleet's in the game, they have about 6 or 7 plays designed for Norfleet. And he's in the game because they want him to have the ball in his hands to use his explosion and burst.
First and 10. Wolverines on the move. Their first drive on the road this year. Tucson running right inside the 35. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, Taco Bell Liv Moss moment. LSU up on top of Auburn early, 14-0. Jeremy Hill has a couple of touchdown runs already, and it's 14-0 LSU in Death Valley.
Where, as expected, it is raining. A lot of rain around the eastern half of the country today, and we do expect some here tonight. Hopefully not before the game is finished. Quick toss to Gallon. And he is swung down and out of bounds by Byron Jones, the cornerback from New Britain, Connecticut. Big issue this year for the UConn defense. 2 new corners. Their cornerbacks last year, both in the NFL now.
Yeah, and if you're going to play corner, this is what all college teams do. They try to get the ball to their athletes in space and think they're going to win the one-on-one battles. That time Jones did a good job of tagging the elusive Gallon.
3rd and 6. And this overflow crowd vocally behind the Huskies. Plenty of time for Devin Gardner. His pass is high, and it is intercepted. On the ricochet, Javon Williams has it for Connecticut. Gardner had a lot of time. It was intended for his good friend Jeremy Gallon, but they did not connect. Then yet another turnover committed by Devin Gardner.
Guess it's just the way that I'm dressed, ain't it? Khakis pressed, Nike shoes, crispy and fresh lace.
2 points on the throw. Jeremy Gallon's going to run and find a zone and sit down in a soft zone. You have good protection by the offensive line. Now, if you're a quarterback that struggled with turnovers, sometimes you're a little bit tight and you're not letting it loose. Right there, that's a ball that he has to deliver to the numbers because he had a clear throwing lane and it was about a 7-yard pass. And when you're struggling, Sean, that's 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in game 4.
You see the numbers since he's become the starter the last 9 games. He's turned it over more than anybody in the country. Huskies off the takeaway, come out throwing. Deshaun Fox the catch. Joe Bolden made the tackle with Andre Pipkins. Good for a 6-yard completion from Chandler Whitmer. On the other hand, we should point out only Johnny Manziel's responsible for more touchdowns than Devin Gardner's 29. Entering today's action, Manziel's been responsible for 30, and as you saw in the highlights, he's added that total tonight. Hand off to McCombs. Nothing doing on the run for UConn. Frank Clark made the tackle.
This is where I think Michigan has improved, is that their defensive line is so athletic compared to, say, 2 years ago. And their movement, and they play low. And the other thing that they have, which they didn't have in the past, they have more depth at that position, so they're able to roll guys in there to keep them fresh.
UConn just 29% for the year on third down. That is 106th in the country. None of their stats are good. Whitmer hit as he throws, and he threw it away. Threw it in the direction of Jeremy Davis, but he was being blitzed. Ramon Taylor came on the blitz.
Well, this is Greg Madison dialing up zone blitzes and confusing the UConn offensive line. Now that's a three-step drop, so that's on Whitmer, the quarterback. He has hot reads off the blitz that he has to get rid of the football. If he doesn't get rid of the football, he's going to end up on his back like he did. He did a good job of throwing it away, though, to prevent a sack and a loss.
There's Cole Wagner on to punt again. First punt went only 30 yards. Drew Dillio back for another line drive punt. Caught by Dillio at the 34 and well covered by UConn. Javon Williams, who had his first career interception a moment ago, the first man down there in punt coverage for the Huskies. No score midway through the first quarter in East Hartford, Connecticut.
Saturday Night Football presented by Windows. Brought to you by Windows. Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Back at Rentschler Field, which opened in 2003. Prior to becoming a football stadium for the UConn Huskies, it was an airfield, and there's still a few runways, which some of the fans drive and park when they come into this stadium, about 22 miles from the UConn campus, in Stores. No score, 1st and 10, Michigan. Devin Gardner out of the pistol. Fitzgerald Toussaint stuffed behind the line of scrimmage by Angelo Pruitt, junior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Uncharacteristically of a Michigan offensive line, one of the struggles, according to Brady Hoke, is they are not moving anybody off the ball. It almost seems like they come in here with a purpose to line up an old school I formation or strong I and try to blow them back. UConn wants nothing to do with that. They're rising to the challenge. Look at that big gap between the center and guard. A lot of times that's an indicator where they're going to run.
They have two veteran outstanding tackles. It's the interior of the offensive line that has occasionally struggled. Gallen the catch. Tripped up by Javon Williams at the 40, a yard short of the first down. 10-yard gain. Of course, in Taylor Lewan, the offensive captain, they have one of the best tackles in the country. Thought about coming out into the NFL draft at the end of last year, returned. And as Shannon mentioned, had a walking boot during the week, but Brady Hoke says he's fine.
They have two tackles lined up. They brought Magnuson in, and they have Taylor Lewan playing tight end. Chances are they'll run that way.
Gardner on a design rollout. First down and a lot of running room. And knocked out of bounds by Tymir Brown as he crossed midfield and went out of the UConn 46. 1st and 10 after a 14-yard gain.
Well, you have a money down, so you give it to Devin Gardner and you give him a run pass option. If you take a look, he had Green downfield. No, excuse me, that was Funchess downfield, but he chose to play safe. And I wonder if that's because of the interception, Sean. He had a guy downfield where he could have dumped it wide open. And sometimes when you throw that interception, that creates hesitation to make a play.
Toussaint, the lone back. Play action fake to him. Again, plenty of time. Gardner pulls it down. Crossed the line of scrimmage, and he's banged around after a 2-yard gain. Yawin Smallwood, the best player on this Connecticut defense, involved in the tackle with Tim Willman and Jesse Joseph.
See, I'm seeing hesitation by Devin right now, and I think he's a little shell-shocked because of the interception. You're going to see off this all-22 look is that they're going to have wide receivers. You're going to have wide receivers running wide open. There's going to be an open receiver down here. Is the out route? That's open. That curl's open. Then you have a guy running deep middle post. His eyes are coming off the receivers downfield. He's making the decision to run because he's playing with hesitation.
They empty the backfield on 2nd and 9. Set up a screen against the 3-man rush. J.U. Chesson, freshman, second career catch. His first went 33 yards for a touchdown. That's good for a 6-yard gain. 5 minutes to go and a scoreless first quarter. It's 3rd and 2. Gardner, lots of running room and a first down inside the 30, knocked down at the 27 by Yawin Smallwood. It was first team all Big East last year. Their leading tackler for the 2nd year in a row. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, I asked the team this week just how Devin Gardner has responded to some of the interceptions that he's thrown. They told me he's really rebounded well. In the last 2 games, there's certainly been times when the team has been down and he's been able to come back, lead his team to the victory. He said this week, I have to respond. I'm the quarterback. That's my job.
Met Johnny Manziel at some quarterback camps over the summer. Said Johnny Manziel been texting him, telling him to hang in there. Here's a reverse. Chesson in trouble and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Jesse Joseph, starting defensive end, senior from Montreal. He's a veteran, making his 36th career start, and like a veteran, he stayed home and played it well.
Well done, Sean. It's all about discipline. You see Jesse Joseph is not over pursuing, understand that he has anything coming back his way. And when you're a veteran and you're senior, you've seen that play before and you know how to react. Outstanding job by Jesse to minimize the gain.
Timeout UConn. Hanging in there as an 18-point underdog. No score with 3.5 to go in the first quarter. At home tonight, the Connecticut Huskies looking for just their 3rd win all time against a team ranked in the AP. Michigan number 15 this week. The most impressive win was against Louisville last year. Paul Pasqualoni's team went 5-7 last year, but they beat Louisville in Louisville. That was a Cardinal team that went on to the Sugar Bowl and beat Florida. The other win was here against South Florida. These 2 teams met in 2010 in the season opener at the newly renovated Big House. At the time was the biggest crowd in the history of college football. Michigan won 30-10. Denard Robinson had a big game. 2nd down and 11. Michigan at the UConn 28. Gardner dancing behind the line and dumped at the 30. Taken down by Taylor Mack, senior cornerback from Powder Springs, Georgia.
What Hank Hughes likes to do is he likes to replace the corners for the safeties. We often talk about the 8th man in the box. Hank Hughes, the defensive coordinator, especially on the short side of the field, likes to bring those safeties up for run. And that time he dialed it up right because Taylor Mack was there to stop the zone read in time.
He's done a terrific job year in and year out. They've been very good on defense, but they lost 4 players from last year's defense that led the Big East to the NFL draft. 3rd and 13. Here comes a blitz. Gardner hit as he throws. It's up for grabs and a flag thrown. Intended for Jeremy Gallen. Byron Jones had the coverage. Yawin Smallwood came on the blitz and hammered Gardner.
Pass interference. Defense, number 16. Automatic, first down.
Sean, the blitz is late. You're asking Mellon Farnwood, the number 20, the safety, to come really late. Well, he's coming from 15 yards off. He has no time to get there. Now, Smallwood gets in the face. But what I like about the play is Devin Gardner's not afraid to make the tough throw even after the interception, and it pays off well. And when he gets in trouble, that's where he's going, his buddy, number 21, Gallen, because he'll go up and make that circus catch now and then.
Ed Ardito is the referee. Officials from the American, which is UConn's new conference, which, by the way, is 5-0 today. Commissioner Mike Oresco told us before the game, including Rutgers win over Arkansas.
Rutgers moving to the Big Ten next year.
And Louisville will be leaving this conference next year as well. As Gerald Toussaint pulled down. Obi Melanfonwu, the safety, freshman from South Grafton, Massachusetts, made the tackle.
I don't think Michigan is built to run side to side. And you take a look at Tucson over the time, he's an inside runner. He's small in stature, but he's a powerful inside runner, and that's where they got to get him going downhill, not sideline to sideline.
Already the 4th rush for a loss for Michigan in this game, 38th of the year. Only Cal has had more running plays that have gone for no gain or negative yardage. Gardner zings one, incomplete, just a little bit in front of Jeremy Gallen. And another big 3rd down. 3rd and 11. 2:04 to go in a scoreless first quarter. But Michigan is in the red zone with thousands of their fans here. They have a huge alumni base in the Northeast. Michigan's administration wanted this game moved to a larger NFL stadium, perhaps MetLife Stadium where the Jets and Giants play in New Jersey, or Gillette Stadium up in Foxborough, Mass. But UConn wanted to maintain the intimacy here and keep a big home field advantage, they hope. Here's another blitz on 3rd down. Gardner runs through it. Has the first down, has a touchdown. "17 yards for Gardner." The pass interference penalty against Byron Jones, a big play on that drive. Here's Brendan Gibbons. If it was golf, you'd give it to him. He's made 114 in a row. Now 115 straight. And that's 11 shy of J.D. Carlson's Michigan record. Devin Gardner, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. 7-0 Wolverines.
Come create and calculate. Shatter both records and stereotypes. Build improbable machines and impossible medicines. Come because there is much to be done out there and to be undone. Come believe in something greater than yourself. Put your grand imagination to work. Come join the leaders and best. The victors valiant. Come to Michigan.
Value of number 28 Tucson. It's not always his running ability, but right here he's going to throw the key block to spring Devin Gardner for 6. Now if you're UConn, if you blitz and you're playing man behind it, you have to have all gaps covered. And what you saw there was Fitzgerald Toussaint being very patient, allowing the blitz to come to him as opposed to going in there like a crazy man and blocking air. Outstanding job for Toussaint of executing his assignment under pressure.
And Gardner, the key figure on the drive, rushed for 42 yards, threw for 16, 58 total yards of the 69 they covered in 11 plays. Matt Weil will kick off. UConn puts Lyle McCombs back deep along with Deshaun Fox, and Fox will take a knee in the middle of the end zone. With his win last week in Chicago, Matt Kenseth leads the chase after race 1. Can he pull away from Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson as he pursues his 2nd NASCAR championship? Find out tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN as the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. The race can also be seen live on Watch ESPN. Kenseth won the NASCAR championship way back in 2003. That was the year before the chase format began. Shannon Spake knew that.
He's on top of it.
Michigan leading 7-0. Whitmer hands it off to Max DiLorenzo. He's a combination tailback and fullback. Raymond Taylor made the tackle for the Wolverines. It's a gain of 6.
That's why TJ Weiss, the offensive coordinator, isn't too discouraged, because there are times when they show glimpses. And right there was a good glimpse of the offensive line of the Huskies pushing the Wolverines back.
It's the 4th carry of the year for DiLorenzo. Combs gets almost every carry among the running backs. Quick toss, and it's dropped. It is a forward pass, incomplete. Deshaun Fox dropped it.
Well, this has been their offense. Good play, bad play. You got a block out there for you to spring and get the first down, and Deshaun Fox did not execute the fundamentals, looking the ball into your hands.
The players we spoke with yesterday, including Chandler Wimmer, talk about it seems to be one thing on just about every play: a missed block, a dropped ball, a bad pass, a penalty. Here comes a Michigan blitz, and the pass incomplete, intended for Fox again, tightly covered by Courtney Avery. It'll be a 3-and-out for the Connecticut offense.
Another opportunity blown by UConn, and saw a little frustration right there by Chandler Whitmer. After the throw, he kind of threw his hands up in the air like, what do I have to do? And Fox lost his footing. Now, the #1 rule for receivers, you got to be in control of your feet, sit that route down, and don't slip, because a pass like that can turn into a pick 6 in a hurry.
Cole Wagner on the punt. Rudilio again back deep. A wobbly kick and a fair catch made at the 35. Well, this is the second half of a home-and-home series between Michigan and Connecticut. They met on a beautiful day. Rich Rodriguez was the coach. Newly renovated Michigan Stadium, and for a record crowd, Denard Robinson put on a show. Set the school record for rushing by a quarterback, 197 yards. He threw for 186. And the Wolverines won comfortably by 20, 30-10. 113,000 plus on hand that day. Michigan has since broken that record. In fact, their Notre Dame game played in front of the largest crowd ever to watch a football game. More than 115,000 were there. Gardner out throwing. Funches couldn't catch it. So even though for Rentschler Field this is going to be the biggest crowd ever, about 42,000, it's really just a little more than about a third of what the Wolverines are used to playing in front of when they're at home.
Yeah, but they have a nice contingency that followed them here to Hartford, Connecticut. And like you said, Sean, a strong alumni base in the Northeast. Get a chance to see their beloved Wolverines on the road.
There's more than 500,000 alumni around the world. Gardner pursued by Yawin Smallwood. He's in trouble. Probably should have gotten rid of it if he could have. And he's taken down by Tymir Brown. Huge loss on the play as Devin Gardner did not get rid of it, and they tackled him back near the 18.
Well, it starts with the pressure from number 33. He'll be in your screen here in a second. There he is, Yawin Smallwood. Although he does not get the sack, he forces Devin Gardner to tuck it and run. And you made a point, probably should have thrown it away. Yes, he probably should have, but the last time he did that, he threw a touchdown against Notre Dame when he tried to throw it away under pressure. And also he threw one of those up against Akron.
And for an interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, thank you.
Awful play. One of the few things he did wrong in their win over the Irish. 3rd down and 26 after a loss of 16. A look out from behind. Gardner never saw Reuben Frank coming. And he got flattened back at the 15.
And Hank Hughes was waiting for Reuben Frank to come around. His best speed rusher off the edge. And look who he beats, the All-American and fine football player in Taylor Lewan. Reuben Frank just did a little stiff arm move like a running back and beat him with speed. Now, if you're UConn, you want to hope you get some type of field position.
Officially, that is the first sack of the season for Connecticut. 7-0 Michigan after a quarter in East Hartford. Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows. Very pleasant night here right now. 72 degrees, a little bit on the humid side. The breeze is kicked up ahead of a cold front that's approaching and is going to bring some rain here overnight. That wind is a factor because as they change ends for the second quarter, Michigan now heading into the wind, and Matt Weil will have to punt into the breeze. Junior from San Diego. Brian Lamel, a true freshman, running sideways and tripped up. Great tackle by Joe Carriage. Because if he didn't get him, then it looked like Lamel had a little bit of running room. But a nice punt by Weil into the wind. Carried 45 yards.
You're right. Sean Carriage does a good job of laying out and just getting the leg of Lamel. because there's a whole lot of green. As you can see, some Wolverine helmets on the ground on special teams.
Sturridge is a fullback for this Michigan team. Big problem for Michigan, and it's continued into tonight. Negative yardage plays. They've had 6 plays from scrimmage go for a loss. Chandler Whitmer looks like he's trying to set up a screen. Nobody there. They're also playing tonight without their starting right tackle, Kevin Friend, who's out with an ankle injury. He's a veteran, would have been his 27th career start. So Xavier Hemingway is playing right tackle, and he has struggled from time to time this year. They're also without Graham Stewart. We've mentioned Shaquem Phillips a couple of times. Stewart, a starting linebacker, has an ankle injury. Those are 3 of the best players on this team. And it's tough when you're 0-2 and playing Michigan. You really can't afford to be without your best players. Lyle McCombs up the middle for a couple, just shy of the 40-yard line.
Just have nothing going. 0 rhythm. It doesn't help on the first play. You got a pretty good play called in a screen pass, but nobody's in the area to catch the screen. It's mental errors. And again, what they're trying to do to East, coming from Cincinnati, is trying to become a little bit of a spread offense and mix a little West Coast in. You got to identify yourself in which you want to be, then stick with it and get married to it.
On 3rd and 7, Whitmer dancing around in the pocket. He'll be sacked. Back at the 36, Frank Clark again. Boy, it's a Michigan team that's had a lot of trouble rushing the passer. They didn't have a sack against Akron last week, and Greg Madison said, I'm going back to teaching fundamentals and technique, and apparently that work this week has paid off.
Yeah, and the first thing he talked about, the first thing with pass rush is not a swim, not a rip, not a spin move, it's get off. And right there, Frank Clark had a great get off, and he attacked half a man and go right straight down his body so he can get the corner and the edge.
Cole Wagner's punt with the win this time, and the fair catch made by Dillio at the 23. Early second quarter in East Hartford, Connecticut. Michigan leading 7-0.
I'm Robert Flores with this studio update. Right now, Texas is leading Kansas State 10-0. David Ash to Kendall Sanders, 63 yards. End of the first quarter. You can see this game on ESPN3. Sean.
All right, Robert, thank you. Major improvement so far in that game for the Texas defense.
Coach Robinson in the second week as the guys playing. Texas's pride was challenged. I'm not surprised they're rising up to that challenge.
On 1st and 10 for Michigan. Here's Fitzgerald Toussaint trying to turn the corner to the right. He's to the 30 and down in the field. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, Brady Hoke told me this week that he could tell by Devin Gardner's body language that he was responding from some of the mistakes that they made in the Akron game last weekend. And watching him on the sideline down here, he's extremely loose, you guys. He's got a smile on his face. He was even giving some high fives to the special teams. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates to this drive right now.
Well, he might be coming across as extremely loose, but he's playing tight.
High formation behind him on 2nd and 3. Toussaint just beyond the first down marker before he got driven back, and they'll move the chains. Tymir Brown up from his safety position to make the tackle.
You know, what I mean by that, Sean, is he's just missing throws that he normally doesn't miss. And I think he's been affected by the amount of turnovers that he's had. And he had an early turnover now, so he's been a little late with passes and off target. See if he gets it together.
He said last week after his shaky performance, a lot of good things against Akron too, but he just felt out of sync. Really never was comfortable in that game. Toussaint weaves his way out to the 39. Tymir Brown, another tackle for this Connecticut defense. Last year, UConn was 9th in the country in total defense, 7th in the nation against the run, 19th in scoring defense. They lost both cornerbacks to the NFL, both Dwayne Gratz, Lady Ray Wilson, drafted in the 3rd round. Hank Hughes also lost Trevardo Williams, who had 11.5 sacks. He got drafted by the Houston Texans in the 4th round. C.O. Moore, a linebacker, was drafted in the 3rd round by Oakland. A lot of good players gone from a year ago. Deep ball down the sideline, incomplete. Looking for Joe Reynolds, who was well covered by Javon Williams.
Nice job of discipline by Javon Williams. Not panicking on a deep route. Getting out of his back pedal in time so he's able to run with the receiver, looking and leaning to avoid any type of pass interference. That's disciplined coverage by the freshman, Javon Williams from Wellington, Florida.
3rd down. 5 yards to go for Michigan. They're 3 out of 5 on 3rd down. They were just 3 for 10 against Akron last week in their 4-point win. 5-man rush. Gardner throws quickly, too far in front of Dillio. And there's another example of what you're talking about, Chris. Devin Gardner just a little bit off.
Well, they do a good job at the line of scrimmage, stacking the wide receivers to clear a path for Dillio to run across the field. And again, he's missing easy throws. And that's a little bit of cause of concern where he's just got to settle down. He may act like he's loose, Sean, but again, I'm going to re-emphasize he is playing very tight.
Ryan Lamel back to field the punt for Matt Weil. It's interesting. Paul Pasqualoni told us yesterday probably wouldn't have the freshman back to receive punts in this big game atmosphere. Lamel and reward his coach's faith in him. Brings it back to the 42. Just a 30-yard punt, an 11-yard return, in good field position for the UConn Huskies, who have just 36 yards of offense to this point.
Saturday Night Football presented by Windows. Brought to you by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer to see why thousands of people are switching to Buick. And World War Z on Blu-ray Combo Pack today. Rated PG-13 and unrated.
Game day tradition at UConn, the Husky Road Show. They provide transportation for students from the campus and stores here to Rentschler Field in East Hartford. Cost them $4. And a big student turnout tonight. They instituted that program to increase student attendance. Best starting field position for UConn, their own 41. Whitmer kicks, and that didn't fool anybody. Got belted down by Brennan Byer, the linebacker, formerly a defensive end, hence the number 97. Well, we talked about that trip. Aflac. Tonight's Aflac trivia question. Want to know which stadium is the greatest distance from its campus? Is it this from UConn's campus, Miami from Sun Life Stadium, or UCLA from the Rose Bowl? You enjoyed our trip to the very nice campus and stores yesterday.
Yeah, I did. It's a beautiful place.
This time he gave it to McCombs, and Lyle danced his way to the 46. Got 5. They'll need 5 more. They've had 3 straight 3-and-outs. UConn has had 1 first down in the game.
And the bright side of that is at least they're in a manageable 3rd down. 3rd and 5 now. They have options.
Paul Pasqualoni in his 3rd year here. Connecticut native from Cheshire, Connecticut. 5 and 7 each of the first 2 years. With the 0-2 start, many in this area believe he's on the hot seat. Whitmer, swing pass. McCombs slips down behind the line of scrimmage. Blake Countess was there anyway for Michigan. And that's 4 straight 3-and-outs for UConn on offense. Defense doing its part with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half.
You know, an halftime adjustment is that both teams need to go check their cleats because a lot of guys are slipping out on that field.
Cole Wagner on to punt again. His 5th punt already. He's been a busy man this year. They came after him and they hit him, and the flag is thrown by the referee, Ed Ardito. Dillio fielded it and went out of bounds near the 16-yard line. It looked like it was Ben Gideon who hit the kicker. Ed Ardito indicating it's a 5-yard penalty, and it's 4th down and 7. And we'll see what Paul Pasqualoni wants to do.
You know, you should never have a roughing the punter. The reason why I say that.
Running into the kicker. 25 on the defense. Penalties declined. first down.
Or running into the kicker is this, Sean. Every time off the film you have a kick point, you cannot cross your body past that kick point. And you see Gideon, number 42, just runs into the kicker and costing them 5 yards. But that's tough to teach because everybody thinks they're so close. You have to stop at the kick point. That's it.
They got the wrong man with the announcement. They announced 25, DeMonte Thomas, but it was Gideon. Paul Pasqualoni decided to take the punt, 40 yards net. So the ball goes back to the 16-yard line. Devin Gardner, 5 out of 10 passing. For 38 yards and an interception. He's run for the only touchdown in this game from 17 yards. Gerald Toussaint was on his left. He blocks for Gardner, who has running room to the right. Little stop and go and a first down out of bounds at the 30.
To get in rhythm, when a quarterback is struggling and he can run, you let him run. And right there, Gardner does a good job avoiding Ryan Donahue, who had him in his sights, but the athleticism of Gardner creates something out of nothing. But that's how you get him in rhythm, get him to relax a little bit to get some positive yards to work on his head so he can get some confidence in that head.
He had 3 rushes last week against Akron that went for 30 yards or more. Toussaint up the middle. Michigan's running backs for the season averaging just 3.7 yards per carry. Both of these teams have had difficulty getting the run game going from the running backs. In the case of Michigan, their quarterback's been a good runner. There's Derek Green, the true freshman. He may get more time as the season goes along. Highly recruited out of Richmond, Virginia.
He's talked to some people who came in a little out of shape. Maybe he's just starting to get into game shape where he can get some game reps.
Gardner kept it. They couldn't tackle him when they had their chance, and he makes them pay. Flag thrown back toward the line of scrimmage. Jefferson Ashiru made the tackle. 11-yard run of it stands.
Holding. Offense. Number 87. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Devin Funchess, the tight end. That's the first penalty against Michigan that's been accepted by UConn.
Here's number 32, Ashiru, coming off the edge. And what UConn's doing is they have no regard for the pass. They have no free safety help. They're selling out on the run because they're seeing what we're seeing is that Devin's struggling throwing the ball down the field. So they're going to say, okay, we're going to sell out a run and try to take his legs away. It's a good job by Hank Hughes of making adjustments according to how the game is going.
I like the way he's calling the defenses, Chris. They've been aggressive, bringing 5 men with regularity. A few times they paid for it as Gardner's run by them. Only a 3-man rush on 3rd and long, and Gallen couldn't catch the short throw. Traffic at 3rd and long was actually 2nd and long. Now it's 3rd down and 16.
Right then there, I know we keep going to it, but these are throws that he's normally making, and you want to get the ball in Gallen's hands because his ability to run after catch, but he's having to work too hard to catch a football.
Midway through the 2nd quarter. 3rd and 16. Just a 3-man rush. And still they flush Gardner. Throws down the middle and incomplete. A little bit low. J.U. Chesson. Gardner is now 0 for his last 6.
When you're going to get pressure with 3, you're in trouble. And right here, Devin panics just a little bit by doing that little spin move rolling out, which takes his eyes off the receivers down the field. Now what he needs to do is learn to slide in the pocket to the open throwing lanes vis-a-vis Tom Brady. That's what Tom does very well.
I'm guessing number 12 is watching this tonight. Or Michigan quarterback. A spirited talk to the team earlier this year. Line drive punt by Weil, caught by Brian Lamel. Freshman from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Good return. Up the far sideline to about the 44. Tripped up by Joe Bolden. 48-yard punt. 16 on the run back. Time to answer tonight's Aflac trivia question. Did the Duck get all silent on us there? I was waiting for a little help from the Duck.
He's still in rehab.
Yes. You want to know which stadium is the greatest distance from its campus, and the answer is this one. Rentschler Field, 22 miles away from the campus and stores. UCLA campus. Westwood, about 17 miles from the Rose Bowl. On first down for Connecticut. Chandler Whitmer, the ball carry, got a half a yard, and that's it. Joe Bolden made the tackle. It is a record crowd here tonight. 42,704. We mentioned they've added more than 2,000 seats for this game. Michigan got about 5,000 tickets. They sold all of those, and a lot of their alums managed to find tickets elsewhere.
It's tough to run that play when Chandler has rushed for negative 204 yards in his career as a quarterback here at Connecticut.
He's not really a running quarterback. He throws. That's on target. And it's their second first down of the game. Jeremy Davis, junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, to the 39 of Michigan. Tackled by Courtney Avery. Thomas Gordon also there, a 16-yard gain.
Well, it's a skinny post run on timing, and that's what Chandler can do. I was watching film with him yesterday. They felt they could exploit that area of the secondary of Michigan. And when you're on time and on target, you give him time, he can deliver dimes.
Martin Hippolyte, a fifth-year senior's committed running back. The tailback in the eye behind Matt Walsh, the fullback. They don't play with a fullback often. Whitmer going deep. Single coverage. Man out there. Diving catch. And it is a touchdown for Jeremy Davis. He got behind Courtney Avery. The question is, was it a catch? They're certainly looking at it at the replay booth. It looks like
a catch to me. His arms were underneath the ball.
That's why I think it is a catch. Ball did wobble around a little bit, but it looked like he had his arms under the ball.
The previous play is under further review.
Crowd saw the replay you saw, and they cheered, so they thought it was a catch. Seemed like the immediate effort to get the arms under it. Jack Kramer is the replay official.
It's a little iffy there from that angle, but I do think that right forearm came underneath the football, and he was able to complete the catch after the body roll into the end zone.
This is obviously a huge replay review. Would be in any case in a game like this, but particularly with a team like UConn that is so offensively challenged, they can't afford to have plays like this overturned. Jeremy Davis, an outstanding wide receiver. The ball clearly hits the ground, but does he have possession of it all the way through?
You don't know if that ball is wobbling or he's just moving. It looks like to me that he caught it all the way through. It's a tough call.
Of course, there has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. The call on the field was a touchdown. Talked to T.J. Weiss, the offensive coordinator. He thinks both Jeremy Davis and Shaquem Phillips, who's injured and not playing tonight, are wide receivers who have NFL-type ability. You saw the great effort there by Davis, their second leading receiver for the year. 10 catches in the first two games, 5 in each of the losses to Towson, which was a stunning way to start the year. They lost by more than 2 touchdowns here at home to a team out of the FCS, and then they lost to Maryland last week. And Randy Edsall's returned, the former UConn coach, left to go to Maryland after they lost to Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl 2011. Here's the ruling.
After review, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball when he hit the ground. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be second down.
Well, you can see how it can go both ways. And right here, I absolutely see. There's the ball hitting the ground.
When did he lose control of it?
And I think what they're interpreting, Sean, is that ball. We thought that he was rolling the ball back with his arms, and they saw it move a little bit and hit the ground. That's why they make the call of not maintaining control. Great effort. Stuff. Now you got to come back and play. You got a tough call against you. It doesn't matter. Let's go play football. They got a little bit of a rhythm. And I like the fact that they're attacking down the field as opposed to dinking and dunking.
Here comes a blitz. Whitmer throws. It's Davis again. They come right back to him. And he's down to the 21-yard line of Michigan. Jared Wilson, reserve safety, made the tackle. Gain of 18. And for the first time tonight, UConn finding a rhythm on offense.
Yeah, and they're finding a rhythm in between the linebackers and underneath the safeties and over top. And it's a skinny post, and it's based on timing. Again, Coach Wiest came in with the idea of getting him at least 10 catches tonight, and they're well on their way.
Max DiLorenzo finds a hole, and he's down inside the 10. Wilson, another tackle. It'll be 1st and goal for UConn.
Well, it's all about sustaining blocks, and UConn does a great job of sustaining blocks, kicking out and cutting off the middle linebacker, Desmond Morgan. If it weren't for the 14-yard line, DiLorenzo would have picked up another 5 yards.
12-yard run is his longest of the season. After the touchdown taken down on the replay review, we should mention it is replay officials from the American, which is UConn's league, in that booth, so give them credit. DiLorenzo stacked up at the 8. Of course, all these men on the field in the booth are men of integrity, but from time to time when something bizarre happens, the affiliation of the officials is mentioned. I think back to a week ago when it was Pac-12 officials on the field at Arizona State for that game against Wisconsin. There are times when that subject comes up.
A quick note, on 73, Alex Mateus lost his helmet, so a new center, Bullock, is coming in. And anytime you have an exchange at center, you got to be careful of that quarterback center exchange. You don't want to take anything for granted. That's probably why they're going underneath. There it is, fumble.
They got it back.
I knew it. That's coming. That's something you never take for granted. It's almost worth taking that timeout, Sean, to get your center back into the game. It's that vital of position. Right there, the snap is a little bit low. And you're not used to it because each center has their own rhythm on the snap. And Chandler wasn't used to that snap and the fumble. New center, problems. Now this one will be good.
3rd and goal from just outside the 10. Whitmer throws, end zone, caught, touchdown. Spencer Parker, the backup tight end, with his first catch of his senior season. Give Connecticut credit. Responded to the adversity of the touchdown taken down, and they scored, and this time it counted. Chad Kristen added the extra point. And with under 4 minutes to go in the first half, the underdog UConn Huskies now even with the Michigan Wolverines. That one didn't count upon replay review. This one will stand. And it's the first career catch for the walk-on, Spencer Parker.
UConn has 3 receivers aligned to the right. Now, take a look at the linebacker and count this. This is a number 3 receiver. The rule is anytime he's up to seam, you have to carry him all the way through. It turns in to man-to-man coverage. And Joe Bolden does not carry him, or Countess doesn't carry him. That's a miscommunication, and it's a good read by Chandler Whitmer to find Spencer Parker in the end zone because number 3 receiver was not carried through the seam to the safeties and turned into man-to-man coverage. So it's a common rule, and it needs to be executed under pressure, and it wasn't.
What a story Parker is. Came here as a walk-on, transferred from LaSalle College in Massachusetts, where he was a volleyball player. He was an all-conference volleyball player in 2010. 2011, he walked onto the football team here. Earned a letter for the first time last year as a special teams player. Now he has a catch. Senior from Newington, Connecticut. Christian's kickoff. They didn't try to run it out. Dennis Norfleet elected to watch it go. Here's the Pacific Life game summary. And a defensive struggle. Credit the Husky defense holding Michigan to 120 yards as we approach the half. It's a defense that has been gouged in the first two games by Towson and Maryland.
Looking forward to seeing how Michigan responds. Last week against Akron in the fourth quarter, when Akron went up, that's when Devin Gardner performed at his best, even though he had a rough start. Let's see if he can do the same here.
Play action fake to Toussaint. Gardner wants a deep ball. Has a man out there. It's underthrown and intercepted by Byron Jones. Intended for Chesson.
You know, I'm not putting that one on Devin Gardner. You can't play scared. You've got to be willing to go ahead and throw the ball up for the jump ball. And you got to trust that your 6'4" wide receiver is going to out-jump the 5'10" corner. He does not. And great ball skills by Byron Jones. Excellent position and discipline. That's twice he showed sound discipline in his coverage. And this time he comes up with the interception as opposed to the PBU, pass breakup.
Second interception of the night thrown by Gardner's. Now thrown more interceptions than touchdown passes this year. UConn ball, and the pass off the hands of McCombs and almost intercepted on the ricochet by Mario Jamudia.
He had a little play set up there too. He threw the fastball, and I think the catcher was calling for the changeup on the screen. That's a tough catch. You want to lead him a little bit so he can catch it in stride and waste time gathering his feet.
First interception of the year for Byron Jones, fourth of his career, is giving UConn the ball back. Deshaun Fox some running room to the far side of the field, and he has the first down. Just across the 35-yard line, an 11-yard gain. 3.5 minutes to go till the half, and 2 timeouts left for UConn, all 3 for Michigan.
Well, one way to get your running game going is getting the receivers downfield blocking. And they do a good job with the freshman John Green, number 7, clears the corner for Fox.
And without Shaquem Phillips at wide receiver tonight, it's Jeremy Davis, Sean Fox, and a bunch of freshmen for Connecticut. Lyle McCombs stays on his feet. Out of bounds near the 50-yard line. Raymond Taylor managed to get him across the boundary. They'll mark it at the Michigan 49. And a 16-yard gain for Connecticut.
Well, this is what was missing from the UConn running game. Number 43, McCombs, making people miss on his own. Right there, not only did he make 1 miss, he made 2 miss. And then he'll get in a rhythm and get a little bit more confidence with a little spin move.
Not a big guy, just 5'8". He admitted that might be generous. 175 pounds. Whitmer threw to the feet of McQuillan with Frank Clark out there. It was good to hear that yesterday when we talked to Lyle McCombs. There isn't really any finger pointing, at least not yet, at this UConn program. He said, I need to do a better job of making people miss.
And he's kind of the emotional leader by his own admission. But it's tough to be an emotional leader and a speaker to the team if you're not producing. He's produced in the past, but it's a what have you done lately for business, as you well know.
Whitmer guns one, deflected by Clark, who's been all over the place for Michigan here in the first half. He got a hand on it. Blake Countess was thinking about his 4th interception of the year. So here's 3rd down and 10 for UConn from midfield.
Well, that's the counter of Greg Madison, where they've been hit, Sean, on that skinny post. So what they're doing is dropping Frank Clark, who's a defensive end, into that throwing area. And that's twice that Frank has been in the throwing lane of Chandler Whitmer.
DiLorenzo in at running back. Here comes a Michigan blitz. Whitmer down the seam and too high. Jeremy Davis was open, but he couldn't catch the high throw. And Connecticut will punt.
Well, if he would look for 49 McQuillan, that's who he has down the sidelines. And Jeremy Davis he's locked into Jeremy right now because there was a conscious effort to get Jeremy the football. Now you come over the sidelines and say, hey, go through your progression and you'll see the wheel route of McQuillan open next time. They'll come back to that play.
Here's Cole Wagner to punt. And it takes the UConn bounce. It hits a Michigan player. Huskies say they have it, and they do. Looked like it hit Demario Jones. It did. And Connecticut recovers inside the 10-yard line. Obi Melifonwu came up with it. Third turnover of the night by Brady Hoke's Wolverines. And this is a big one.
Yeah, it's all about fundamentals. Right there, the Michigan pass blockers, or the punt return blockers do not see Dilio, and he didn't give him a signal. If you're not going to catch the football, you have to be smart and go like a wild man, poison, 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 to avoid that circumstance right there.
Well, realistically, if UConn was to have a chance tonight, they needed help from the Michigan Wolverines, and the Wolverines are giving them that help. Michigan, for the second week in a row, struggling against the team you would expect them to handle with ease. Last week at home, needed a goal line stand in the final seconds to beat Akron, a team that's lost 27 straight road games and had one win in each of the previous 3 seasons. And here's UConn. When you look at the stats, Chris, you can make the argument to this point in the season, they've been the worst team in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, their stats are awful in every single area. But here they are now, poised to take the lead right before the half.
Well, and their defense is keeping them in this game. And the other thing is Michigan has not recovered from that hangover.
Connecticut came into the game 101st in total defense, 101st in points scored. DiLorenzo down to the 8-yard line. James Ross III made the tackle for Michigan. Their defense playing without Jake Ryan, their leading tackler from a year ago. They hope they'll get the junior linebacker back by October, which isn't far away now.
James Ross III, hockey player in high school. So we have a volleyball player and a hockey player converted to the good sport of football.
Second and goal from the 7. Chandler Whitmer throws. McCombs is open. Touchdown. And the lead for Connecticut. The officials are conferring about something. We didn't see a flag on the field.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, UConn. Correction. The foul is on number 43. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
And McCombs, the touchdown. First receiving touchdown of the year, second overall. The junior from Staten Island, out of St. Joseph by the Sea. And Christian adds the extra point. So they need only 2 plays after the miscue on the punt by Michigan. 7-yard touchdown pass by Whitmer, his second of the night. Michigan trailing now 14-7, nearing halftime.
It's all about creating matchups. Anytime you can get a running back matched up on Wormley, a defensive end coming out of a three-point stance. That's not fair. You're not putting Wormley in a position to win, especially coming out of the three-point stance. And Lyle McCombs does a good job of sealing it. Then he does the selfish thing right here, Sean, of getting a 15-yard penalty, which will be assessed on the kickoff.
Which could be critical. Here's the play on the punt. Ball off the foot of Mario Jones. UConn recovered. Brady Hoke said after last week, I don't care who you're playing, when you turn it over, it's hard to beat anybody. And the turnovers were a big reason why Akron had a great chance to pull off a huge upset. And even after the spirited week of practice, practicing in pads Sunday for the first time under Hoke as the head coach. You think it's focus, or think it's just they're not playing that well? You'd think after last week, the near miss, they wouldn't come in here overlooking Connecticut.
Well, I think they have zero offense going right now. The defense isn't bad. And the other thing is they haven't played well on the road with Brady Hoke. They're 4-5 under Brady Hoke on the road.
Penalty on the kickoff gives Michigan great field position as Norfleet able to run it out to the 44-yard line as we check in with Robert.
Sean, Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. In the Big 12, Texas opened up a 17-0 lead when Jonathan Gray scoots into the end zone, but Kansas State answered with a late touchdown, and they're down 10 with just more than a minute to go in Austin.
All right, thank you, Robert. Minute 40 to go. 2 timeouts left for each team. Gardner pulls it down, trying to find a running lane. And he's ankle tackled at the 47, a gain of 3. Here's Shannon.
Sean, after last week's game, Taylor Lewan, he took full blame for the way that the team performed. You could really sense that tonight as well. He's walked over to his quarterback. He said, we're going to give you time to throw the ball. He's also told the defense, you did your job. We have to do ours.
5-man rush. Gardner in trouble. He won't get away. Down back at the 34. Shiro leading the way. He's done a nice job filling in for Graham Stewart, who's ordinarily the starter at that linebacker spot.
Yeah, we talked about it right there. Fitzgerald Tucson does normally a good job, but they're bringing linebackers because they're not respecting the passing game of Michigan. So that allows the door to open for Hank Hughes, and he's dialing them up in the dirt. Let's run this one, and let's run this one. They all seem to be working.
Members of the national champion UConn women's basketball team down on the sideline, cheering on their classmates. UConn did not have a sack in the first 2 games of the year. The only other team in the country without a sack entering this weekend was Southern Miss. They have 2 tonight. Timeout called with 43 seconds left till the half. Coming up at the half, stay tuned for John Jesse and the Capital One halftime report. Scores and highlights from today's college football action. There were some big lopsided scores today. Many thought this would be a lopsided game. Thought that Michigan would bounce back. Wouldn't overlook Connecticut after Akron, and perhaps they're fully engaged tonight, just not playing well. Perhaps, as the Husky players and coaches said, to a man, we all believe we're a lot better than this 0-2 start. 3rd and 20. And a conservative play call. They give it to Fitz Toussaint. He got belted at the 44. And now will UConn call a timeout? Yes, Paul Pasqualoni will. Jefferson Ashiru and Tyree Clark combine on the stop. Last time out for UConn with 38 seconds to go till halftime. Tomorrow night on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball. Carlos Beltran and the St. Louis Cardinals trying to stay atop that tight NL Central as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow night at 8. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, also live on Watch ESPN. Cardinals beat the Brewers last night in dramatic fashion, rallying to win an extra inning ball game.
You know, Sean, if I'm UConn right here, I'm going to set up my return. And the only reason why I'm not going for the block and trying to set up the return is because we've both witnessed some holes opened up on that return.
Wild punts. Whoa, there's the muff punt. It's Lamel muffing it. And it's recovered by UConn at the 10. And Paul Pasqualoni told us yesterday that he wasn't going to put a freshman back there to field the punts because he was afraid of this. He's had Lamel back there. He had a nice return last time, but very nearly made a critical mistake. Javon Williams in the right spot, as he has been a few times tonight for UConn.
Well, he was going to put number 29, the senior Taylor Mack, back there for the sure hands, but Lamel has flashed a little bit. But right there, he's got to understand when to make the fair catch. And you're not always going to see the defender bearing down on you. You just have to learn how to fill it, and he will with the more experience he gets.
UConn will take a knee. Michigan won't bother to stop it with just 2 timeouts left. And this big crowd, record crowd, some of these folks have booed the Huskies their first 2 home games on their way to losses to Towson and Maryland, giving this squad a rousing ovation as they lead by 7. Here's Shannon.
Coach, your quarterback had the early interception. How do you think that that affected his confidence in the first half?
Well, I don't know. The one got tipped, you know, the one deep one, but the early one, I don't know if it affected his confidence. We got to do a better job protecting him, number one, and we're so out of rhythm offensively, and they're playing very good.
Last week, you said it was toughness that caused the issues in your game. What has been the biggest issue this weekend?
Well, I don't think we're blocking the line of scrimmage very well. We don't block the perimeter very well. And, you know, defense hung in there, but we got to keep hanging in there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
The problems are on offense. Just 120 yards of offense for the Wolverines, and 3 turnovers were huge. 14-7 Connecticut at the half. Stay tuned for John, Jesse, and the Capital One halftime report right after these messages. Welcome back to Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows on ABC. From Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Record crowd on hand to watch Michigan and UConn. And a surprise at the half. It's 14-7. Connecticut with the lead. Brady Hoke trying to get his quarterback Devin Gardner fired up. Just 120 yards of offense in that first half for Michigan.
Well, I think the approach that Brady Hoke took at halftime, and one that I would take, is I'd get in the face of all my offensive linemen. We're not opening up holes on the run. We're not protecting. Probably got a little aggressive with them. Now, when I go to a fragile quarterback, and Devin Gardner's fragile right now, I tell him, look, you can play. Stop aiming the football and just sling the rock and play catch like you've done in the past. Just relax, bring us back like you brought us back last week, and all will be good.
Very little rhythm on offense for Michigan. Gardner threw 2 interceptions. He's now thrown 8 for the year and only 7 touchdown passes. He's 0 for his last 7 as we head to the second half. Will be Michigan ball to begin the second half. Chandler Whitmer threw 2 touchdown passes, only 8 out of 19 for a lot of the half. They were stagnant on offense, but seemed to find a little rhythm. Late in the half, they were helped by 3 Michigan turnovers, the 2 interceptions thrown by Gardner, and the miscue on the punt that gave UConn the ball inside the 10-yard line. They punched it in. 3-5 under Brady Hoke when trailing at the half. They're 4-5 in true road games. Of course, Brady Hoke's undefeated in 2+ seasons in Michigan Stadium, 17-0, but the road record below 500. Chad Kristen kicks off through the back of the end zone. Here's a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Devin Gardner intercepted early on a deflection. Javon Williams had the first pick. UConn didn't have a sack. One of only 2 teams in the country without a sack entering this weekend. Southern Miss the other. They had 2 of Gardner. And they capitalized on that snafu on the punt. Lyle McCombs, his first touchdown catch of the year. A Michigan ball from the 25. Gardner just 5 out of 13 passing in the first half. Fitzgerald Toussaint Quality gain, 7 yards on the first play from scrimmage. Here's Shannon Spake.
Sean, a range of emotions as the UConn players walked out of their locker room. The fans were really excited, high-fiving them, but you could see the focus on the players' faces. Paul Pasqualoni told me, he told his guys there are no moral victories. Anything but a win is not acceptable, but they're up for a challenge. Taylor Lewan just looked at me and said, our boys are ready to play now.
Trying to get the running game going with somebody other than Gardner. And Toussaint just shy of the first down. He had 37 yards rushing on 10 carries. And that's right on the average for the year for Michigan running backs, 3.7 per carry. Not good enough.
No, it's not, but it looks to me like they got together at halftime and said, look, if we're going to win this game, we're going to win it up front. We've got to get better up front. We're going to challenge them right there. They want to get Fitzgerald Toussaint in the ball game and not count on Gardner to be the leading rusher.
They're 0 for the last 5 on 3rd down. And 3 for 8 for the game. Gardner pinballed around. The ball's out. Picked up by UConn's Tymere Brown. He's going to score. Touchdown, Connecticut. Fourth Michigan turnover, 3 of them by Gardner, who had 4 last week against Akron. You wonder, Chris, if it's getting to the point where they need to consider making a quarterback change, a thought that would have been unfathomable just a couple of weeks ago. There's an injured official apparently on the play. I think the side judge, Mark Wyndham, was injured on that play.
Watch Magnuson, the freshman coming in to line up beside Lewan. Stephen drives him back into Devin Gardner. Now they brought in 2 tackles to run a sneak over the 2 tackles. Magnuson does not have pad level. His pads are higher than Stephen's. Stephen takes him and manhandles him, throws him into Gardner, knocks the ball loose. And a good job of the UConn defense and Tymere Brown not jumping on the ball, but using his athletic ability to scoop and score.
During the return, we have unsportsmanlike conduct for sideline interference on UConn. 15-yard penalty would be placed on the kickoff. The previous play is under further review.
Wow. Bushel full of bad news there for Paul Pasqualoni. You wonder if the side judge got tangled up with somebody on the sideline, and that's why he was injured. Meanwhile, big problems for Brady Hoke and Devin Gardner. What do you think they're reviewing to see if Gardner was down? It looked like a fumble and a pretty clear return by Tymere Brown.
What a job by Stephen, just getting those hands underneath and throwing
the ball's
Magnuson.
out.
Yeah, that's gone. Magnuson knocked it out. Tymere Brown.
Does he go down to a knee to pick it up? No.
Right there, the ball's out.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown for UConn.
Quite clearly so. Replay booth just wanted to make sure. Brown Jr. from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. The second fumble recovery of the season. This one returned for a score.
Sean, you would agree with me, right? As devastating as it was to lose to Towson, a win over Michigan could get them right back on track as they head into the AAC play.
Chad Kristen at the extra point. These Michigan fans, and there are thousands of them here, came here thinking it was going to be a big party and a rousing win. A rare appearance. They haven't played in New England since 1995 when they won at Boston College. This is a nightmare right now for the Maize and Blue. 4 turnovers tonight. The turnovers almost got them defeated in stunning fashion at home against Akron. Tonight they're on the road for the first time. And down 2 touchdowns to a UConn team that's determined to prove it is much better than its 0-2 record, and the stats that accompany it would indicate.
All right, and this again is the field position for Michigan to possibly respond with good field position because of penalties on UConn on 2 out of the 3 touchdowns. Sideline interference, and usually each team, to avoid that penalty, has a get-him-back coach, and that get-him-back coach isn't doing his job over there, but they're playing with a lot of emotion.
The second time tonight, they'll have to kick off from the 20-yard line. Last time Norfleet brought it out near midfield after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for the celebration by McCombs after the touchdown that made it 14-7. Now it's 21-7. Line drive boot by Kristen, bounces into the arms of Norfleet. And he stopped at the 37-yard line by Martin Hippolyte, the 5th-year senior out of Wakefield, Massachusetts, just north of Boston. This UConn defense, which has been outstanding for many years, the program that's been bowl eligible for the previous 6 years, uncharacteristically awful in the first 2 games. They're looking like the UConn defenses of recent years tonight against Michigan. Gardner, and that's been their main play all night. He just pulls it down and runs. There are flags down. Gardner off to the races. Delivers a stiff arm to Tymir Brown. It goes out of bounds at the 25 of Connecticut. But is it going to stand for 39 yards? No.
Offense, number 77. The 10-yard penalty. First down.
The All-American team captain, Taylor Lewan, guilty of the hold.
So take a look at Taylor right here. You see where the hold does come. And he's got him inside, hooked. It's okay to get your hands inside, but you cannot pull that jersey from the neck. That's kind of a reverse horse collar block. The self-inflicted wounds by Michigan continue to haunt them.
Well, Shannon said, Lewan said after that game at the press conference, last week's performance was embarrassing, product of a lack of attention and focus in the week leading up to the game. He assured Michigan fans it wouldn't happen again. Deep handoff to Tucson. In trouble. Man down. Angelo Pruitt got enough of him to get Tucson down on a knee back at the 21-yard line. Another lost yardage play, the 8th of the night for Michigan.
Yeah, and then also Cam Penny does a good job of penetrating, not getting knocked off, forcing Tucson to run outside and run a hump. Remember, he's not a speed guy that can run side to side, and Angelo Pruitt's there to clean up. And they're playing with emotion and fire. Hank Hughes has got to be proud on those sidelines.
2nd and 25.
Big screen down right here from Michigan.
Pressure from behind, a throwback screen. You called it, Chris. Tucson got a block from Lewan, but it didn't help. No gain on the play. Shamar Steffen, the senior from Brookville, New York. Standout on that Husky defense, their leading tackler among the D linemen. This crowd is fully engaged. Hard to believe they were booing the team almost off the field. With a lot of empty seats in the second half of those games against Towson and Maryland.
A lot of times teams play lip service when they say we have to take care of business. We got to block out all the distractions. UConn has done that with the support of their fans.
Third and 25. Gardner going to try to run for it. And he's chopped down in the open field. Nice tackle by Tyree Clark, backup cornerback, sophomore from Tampa.
It's tough duty, Sean, when your #1 running plays the quarterback draw. You got to have something else to go to. They don't right now. They don't have an answer.
Brian Lamel, the true freshman, who muffed a punt late in the half. You question the wisdom of even having him back there to try to catch it that late in the half. He's back there again. Wild, pretty good effort into the wind. Lamel, a hands catch, and then he's smothered at the 25 by J.U. Chesson. Wild's done a good job punting into the wind. That was 45 yards. The UConn defense looking like the defense of recent years for the Huskies, dominating the Wolverine offense right now. Tomorrow morning, get your NFL Sunday started off on the right foot at 10 Eastern time on ESPN. Sunday NFL Countdown with Chris Berman and the gang. The latest news and updates from around the league. Before you set your lineups, catch fantasy football now at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Our experts give you all the information you need to give you an edge in your fantasy leagues.
I think Ray Lewis gets in there and breaks them down before they go out.
Chandler Widmer under center. Connecticut with the ball and a stunning 14-point lead, and the ball's dropped by Spencer Parker. The former volleyball player at LaSalle College spiked that one into the ground.
Almost had a second career catch, but you've got to concentrate on fundamentals right here. The classic look to run before you secure the football. Watch, his head's going to turn right before the ball comes. Good athlete. Coach Wiest was very excited about his ability to get down the field and become a pass receiver. Fundamentals.
2nd and 10. Max DiLorenzo got belted by the Michigan defense led by James Ross III. Desmond Morgan, fellow linebacker, in there. Morgan, the leading tackler for Michigan for the year, entering tonight's action. 3rd down and 9. And that was a big drop on 1st down. Chance on this possession for UConn right away to keep the momentum going.
Here's where they like to go with Jeremy Green down here to the single receiver side on the skinny post.
Here comes the blitz. He throws to the far side and incomplete. John Green, the freshman, the intended receiver. That was a big drop by Parker. And a 3 and out. Cole Wagner comes in to punt. Wonder if they'll come after him again. They've come close a couple of times.
I don't know if you get shy if you get a roughing the kicker or running in the kicker penalty. Sometimes you get shy and they have a chance for some type of field position.
Wind is at Wagner's back. Drew Dillio back for it. Better effort this time. Got it up in the air and into the wind. Dillio from the 23, and that's all. Swung down immediately by Marquise Van. 7th punt by Wagner goes 50 yards, and it's perfectly covered. 10 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, and a big surprise.
Saturday Night Football presented by Windows. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. And Axe. Girls are getting hotter. Keep your cool with new Axe Black Chill.
I mentioned Rentschler Field sits on what was once Rentschler Field and Airfield. Originally a military facility, then it was a private corporate airport named for Frederick Rentschler, who founded the aircraft arm of Pratt & Whitney. They gave 75 acres to the state of Connecticut to build this stadium as UConn moved up to the top level of college football. Fitzgerald Tucson on 1st and 10. 10th possession of the night for Michigan. All of them have begun in their own territory. Shamar Stephan made the tackle. I guess the question now that many might be asking, there's a long way to go, Chris, but this is second week in a row Michigan struggled against a team that you would not have expected them to struggle against. How good are they? They moved up to number 11 in the country after the win over Notre Dame, dropped back to 15 even after they beat Akron last week. Some of the pollsters had some questions. You'll have more after tonight, almost certainly, regardless of the outcome. Dillio the catch. Good throw by Gardner to the 43. Then a 1st down.
Well, the answer to your question is they're very good on defense. They're athletic. They throw a lot of different looks at you on offense. They're inconsistent. And you said it earlier, and it's evident now as there's zero rhythm, and it's the up and down play of Devin Gardner. Certainly dynamic, but he's one-dimensional. He's one-dimensional running the football. Now, that was the first solid throw that he made all night right there by staying in the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field.
First catch of the night for Dillio for 13. Toussaint dropped for a loss by Yawin Smallwood, junior from Worcester, Mass. Only about 45 minutes or so up the road. Terrific player. Interesting first name. He told us last night his mother's name is Yasa. Dad's name is Winston, so they just combined it. Wound up with Yawin.
And he's the best inside linebacker that I've seen on film this year. When he lines up inside, he's very instinctive, runs around and makes a lot of plays.
Jake Butt, the tight end, in motion. On 2nd and 11, Gardner has a man open, Jeremy Gallen. He's whacked forward by the defense for a first down. Michael Myers hit him, knocked him ahead a yard. Probably would have had the first down anyway. UConn coaches said Gallen, containing him, was one of their biggest tasks tonight, and they've done a nice job on Jeremy Gallen. Just his 3rd catch for 23 yards.
Seeing confidence start to grow in Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, by allowing Devin Gardner to throw the ball down the field after 2 good completions.
Here's Norfleet trying to turn the corner. He could not. Swung out of bounds by Javon Williams. But a very solid game, the redshirt freshman out of Wellington, Florida.
He is, Sean, and this is UConn's. If you're a corner for UConn, you have to be a good run support player. And right there, he does his job. And his only job is not let that ball get outside of him to the sidelines, because he knows the cavalry's coming from the inside off of pursuit, which was clear with Jesse Joseph chasing him down from behind, number 91.
Joe Carriage, the fullback, now in the eye in front of Toussaint. 2nd and 9, more than midway through the 3rd quarter. Toussaint found the hole. He got popped at the 40-yard line of Connecticut. Obi Melanfonwu, redshirt freshman safety. Great size, 6'4", 208 pounds. Great range. Coaches love his athletic ability. Still learning to play the position, but they believe he has a bright future.
And he does. In Michigan, Sean, key 3rd down. 3 of 10 on the night so far, batting 30%. Now in this situation, UConn has dialed up a blitz to get after Gardner.
They were 3 out of 10 last week against Akron on 3rd down. Quick handoff. Toussaint lunges and has the first down. Excuse me, it's Gardner keeping it and lunging for the first down to the 35-yard line.
Again, it's that same play. Their #1 running play is quarterback draw. I understand why they're running it tonight, because they have success, but moving forward, if they want to have success as they enter the Big Ten season, they got to become more consistent running other plays besides Devin Gardner on up the middle.
And behind Jack Miller, the center, the guards are Graham Glasgow and Kyle Kalis. Each of them just making his 4th career start. They're all first-year starters. Inside those veteran tackles. Slant behind Dillio. 2nd and 10. That wasn't even close.
Well, just as the confidence grows, and we always talk about confidence in players, but I'm telling you, the play caller has confidence. When he sees his quarterback struggle, all of a sudden, half his playbook goes out the window because he doesn't trust himself to call it.
Option. Gardner got walloped as he pitched it to Toussaint, who has a first down inside the 20. He's going to score. Touchdown, Michigan. 35 yards.
Excellent read and a good delivery of the pitch, knowing you're going to take a shot, and this is what Fitz Toussaint does best. Shaking and moving, making cutbacks and running with power, and a huge response by the Michigan offense, something they needed and needed badly. Speed option.
Longest run of the year. Nice drive. 75 yards in 9 plays. Gibbons adds the extra point. Brendan's now made 116 in a row, and it's a one-score game with a long way to go in East Hartford. 5:37 left in the third quarter. 21-14 Connecticut. Among those in the record crowd here at Rentschler Field tonight, Derek Jeter, Kalamazoo, Michigan native, well-known Michigan fan. There were a lot of rumors going around that he might be here tonight, and he is after his Yankees shut out the Giants at home today 6-0. Of course, Derek's injured and out for the year. He has to be feeling a bit better about this game after the touchdown by Toussaint.
Imagine a read option quarterback Derek Jeter would make. Made a bad career choice. Should have went the football route.
5-time World Series champion on his way to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. One of the great Yankees of all time. Kickoff out of bounds by Weil. Speaking of baseball, tomorrow night, Sunday night baseball, it's the Cardinals and the Brewers. Cardinals trying to stay on top in that very tight National League Central. Pirates and Reds right behind. That's 8 o'clock tomorrow night, presented by Taco Bell. Also live on Watch ESPN.
Reds are close. Herbie'd be happy about that.
I'm cheering for the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. Great baseball fans in Pittsburgh. It's been too long since they were in the postseason.
Since Kent Tekulve.
Like in 1992.
Oh, not that long. I'm going back to Rennie Stennett, Manny Sanguillen. Good field position.
Chandler Whitmer. Fake and a pass on target to Deshaun Fox. He got his fillings rattled by Thomas Gordon, that held on for a 16-yard gain to the 49-yard line of Michigan.
Boy, they have a lot of confidence right now in Chandler Whitmer. An outstanding job of throwing to an area, letting Fox get the catch without working, and then able to transition to the run right after the catch. It'll be interesting to see if Coach P goes ahead and plays it close to the vest, or he keeps it open. That's what's working. This is a big game. Play to win. Don't play not to lose.
Too early to get conservative and try to sit on the lead. McCombs moves it to the 45-yard line. He got 4. Very lightly recruited. He told us yesterday he really didn't have any big offers at this level, the FBS level. And those schools at this level that showed interest in him really thought he would be a defensive back. He wanted to be a running back. Randy Edsall said, we're going to give you a chance to be a running back, and he's been one of the best in the history of UConn. 8th in school history entering the night. Career rushing yards, trying to set up a screen. Whitmer throws, caught by Parker. Very near the first down marker. Had to come back to catch it. Joe Bolden was there. Ed Ardito says first down at the 39-yard line of Michigan. Nice bounce back by Parker after a big drop on their first down play on their last possession.
And the intelligence of the quarterback to know the total offense, not panicking when the screen wasn't there, coming back to his number 2 option. That's a luxury.
Whitmer just 10 out of 23, but he hasn't made the big mistake that has plagued him in the past. Zing's far sideline. Catch made. Jeremy Davis, another first down. They're quickly to the Michigan 25-yard line with Raymond Taylor in coverage.
That's a big time throw right here. Throwing the ball on rhythm and on time, low and away from the corner, and trusting his guy to make a play. And Jeremy certainly did.
Entering tonight, Whitmer for his career, 12 touchdown passes, 19 interceptions. Been prone to the costly mistakes. Threw for over 2,600 yards last year, but they went 5-7 with him as the starter. 0-2 this year. 5-man rush. Whitmer in trouble and yanked down back at the 31 by Raymond Taylor. Greg Madison dialed up the blitz, and it paid off.
Well, again, you see Raymond Taylor coming from the short side of the field. and Chandler Whitmer missed his hot read. He had number 7, John Green, sitting there looking for the football because the safety had too far to cover off the short corner blitz. That's one mental mistake. We had a good intelligent misplay by Whitmer one play, then he made the mental mistake off there being fooled by that man, Greg Madison.
2nd and 16. They're on the edge of field goal range for Chad Kristen. McCombs pulled down after a short gain, got to the 27. Jabril Black made the stop for Michigan, senior from Cincinnati. And the field goal obviously would be big, would move it back to a 2-score lead late in the 3rd quarter.
If I'm Connecticut, the one thing I'm telling Chandler Whitmer, do not take a sack. So I wouldn't be surprised if they call a run here. Be a little bit conservative, but play for points. Right now, don't get cute and take a sack, or if you do, make sure you throw it away.
Be about a 45-yard field goal with the win from here. Whitmer out in the flat. Good hands catch by McCombs, but he slipped down. Boy, it's been a dry week here in New England. A beautiful fall week or late summer week. The field has been a little iffy. We've seen a lot of players slip, big chunks of the turf coming up. Crowd doesn't like the decision, I think, by Paul, I guess, to boo. Maybe it's the spot. I'm not sure what they're booing about. But here's Kristen, who's made 10 in a row dating back to last season. 3 for 3 this year. His career long is 50. That was last year. This would be 46 with the wind. It is no good. Hooked it wide left. Huge miss with 1:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. It clearly was the right decision to try it.
Absolutely.
4th down and long. He had the leg to make it, just pulled it. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spate. Late in the 3rd quarter, Connecticut, which led by 21-7 not long ago, just missed a field goal, which would have put the advantage back to 2 scores. Now a touchdown and the extra point could tie it for Michigan. They marched nicely down the field on the last drive. Fitzgerald Toussaint down to the line of scrimmage. Jefferson Asheru leading the defense for Connecticut as we go under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Well, he's played well tonight in place of Grant Stewart, really making a lot of plays and playing aggressive and disciplined. Good sound tackling by Asheru.
We're wondering what the booing was from the crowd there as the field goal unit came on. We're told they took a shot at Derek Jeter and put it on the big screen in the end zone to our left. There are a lot of Red Sox fans in this part of the world. A lot of Yankee fans too. This is about halfway between New York and Boston. Gardner escapes, throws back over the middle, and incomplete. Off the hands of Jeremy Gallen. That throw is almost always a bad idea. The late throw back over the middle.
And again, this is what Devon's got to make that decision. But right now, you said it, Sean, you do not want to throw back over the middle. Just ask Brett Favre in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago. Take the yards while you can get them and keep the chains moving.
Big play here. 3rd down and 10 with 28 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And a timeout call by Michigan. They are widely regarded as football's first family, although the Spielmans would argue. Don't miss SEC Storied. We revisit the upbringing of the Manning brothers with never before seen footage and stories. So flummoxed by the fact that this isn't about the Spielmans. The Mannings beginnings, of course, in New Orleans, all the way up to their ascent into NFL superstardom. SEC Storied, the book of the Manning, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN.
I bet you they didn't have cage matches at 5.
Like the Spielmans?
Yes, we did, man. Let's go.
Hall of Famer Chris Spielman, College Football Hall of Fame. His brother Rick, the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. 3rd down and 10 after the Michigan timeout. He's 0 for 4 on 3rd down, moving along the line.
False start, offense, number 61. It's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Glasgow, the sophomore left guard out of Aurora, Illinois.
You know, Sean, that can happen, and the reason why it happens is because Connecticut has been able to create pressure off of blitzing right there. They show a blitz, and linemen get a little jumpy if they've been giving up pressure off the blitz.
4th penalty against the Wolverines for 30 yards. Gardner for the year entering tonight was 80% passing on 3rd down, 24 for 30. Can he do it again? Zings one deep, and is it caught? Yes, Chesson made the catch at the 41-yard line. They convert on 3rd down and long. Let's take a look. Was it a catch? They needed 15. If that stands, they got 17. And apparently it will. And now they're going to review it, it seems.
The previous play is under further review. Ruling on the field is a catch.
And of course, UConn had a touchdown taken away. We thought it was a good catch in the first half. Replay booth, Jack Kramer ruled that the receiver, Jeremy Davis, didn't maintain control. I talked about that play in the first half. The ball can touch the ground after the player secures control. As long as he continues to maintain control, there are other elements that need to be satisfied.
I think that's a catch right there. It's a good job of J.U. Chesson getting his arms underneath the ball, and a good throw by Devin Gardner, and a clutch throw.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. 1st down.
Huge play.
You need to mark that one, because that is a huge play on 3rd and 16 to keep it alive with 10 seconds to go and running in the 3rd quarter.
Will they snap it again here in the 3rd? Looks like Gardner's going to take it to the 4th quarter. They will have the wind at their backs in the 4th quarter. About a 15-mile-per-hour wind. Each team scored 7 points in the 3rd quarter. It was the defense that scored for UConn. And it was Tucson on his longest run of the year found the end zone for Michigan. Welcome back to ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows. From Rentschler Field, it is rocking. Largest crowd ever here. Connecticut leading 21-14, but a big 3rd down conversion for Michigan gives them 1st and 10 from their own 41. First play of the 4th quarter. Devin Gardner's pass deflected and falls incomplete. Here's Shannon Spake.
So guys, I checked in on the issue with the field. I talked to some of the guys that take care of the grounds, and they said that it was sodded in the spring, and because of the extreme heat that they've experienced here, it's killed some of the roots. So a lot of the damage that you see out there is just residuals from the Maryland game that they weren't able to fully have reroot. So I guess let's just keep our fingers crossed it doesn't rain now.
It's expected to at some point tonight. Haven't seen it yet. 2nd and 10. Gardner dumps it off. And good effort after the catch by Jake Butt. He got to midfield, but he's a yard short. 3rd down and 1. Byron Jones made the tackle.
It's interesting here. This is where Michigan has to be Michigan, where you got to make a decision. Are we going to win the line of scrimmage? And early on in short yardage, I would run away from Shamar Stephen, number 59, because he's a man in there and he's winning all those individual battles. Let's see what happens here. Last time they ran a sneak over to the 2-tackle side right here. I don't see it this time.
It's Gardner on a designed run. Keeps it around the corner and has the 1st down. Skipped out of bounds near the 45-yard line of Connecticut. 1st and 10, Wolverines.
In the 1st quarter, they ran that play on short yardage with Devin Gardner. They were successful. Al Borges does a good job coming right back to it to pick up the 1st down on a key 3rd down.
A minute into the 4th quarter. Michigan in a battle. Hank Hughes has to be delighted with the play of the defense tonight. Will they rise up again? Play action pass, no rush. Gardner deep, man open. It is incomplete. Chesson had a step or two on Javon Williams. And the pass with the wind sailed over his head. And it didn't look like he was fully judging it all that well while it was in the air either.
Face. Number 59 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You see him slowing down there a little bit, Chris, as the ball was going longer.
And he's a young, inexperienced receiver, and he's got to trust, because one thing we know about Devin Gardner is that he will get it there. Then they get the penalty right there on Stephen with hands to the face. You got to be smart. Those are self-inflicted wounds, and you almost get the feeling that Michigan is coming and coming and coming. And UConn had a few blown opportunities. You mentioned it, the missed field goal and giving up it on 3rd and 16.
Well, those are big plays, kind of plays when you're in the position UConn's in. Generally, you think you have to make on 1st and 10 from the 31. Fitz Toussaint stuffed again by Shamar Stephen, who was just called for that penalty.
Well, he's a player. Now, he's on national TV tonight on ABC. And he's a name, and he's somebody that's captured my attention. And if he's capturing my attention, I'm sure he's capturing plenty of scouts' attention. 6'5", 323 in the middle. It can move.
Two minutes gone by, fourth quarter. Three-man rush. They still get Gardner to move, trying to find some running room. Here comes Smallwood, and he got him down back at the 38.
It's all about the spy. Smallwood doesn't go anywhere. He's keeping his eyes on Devin Gardner, knowing that Devin likes to tuck and run. And you see the athleticism of Smallwood out of Worcester, Mass, coming up and making a huge play for the Huskies.
They didn't have a sack all year in the first two games. They've had 3 tonight. That's for a loss of 7. Smallwood averaged 15 tackles per game to lead the country coming into tonight. 10 tackles for a loss for the UConn defense. 3rd and 17. Can Michigan convert on 3rd and long again? Gardner started a run, thought better of it. Now he's across the line of scrimmage, and he's down about 2 yards short of the first down. And with 12 minutes to go, Brady Hoke will have a decision to make on 4th down and 2.
It looks like he's already made the decision to go for it. And you got to expect, if you're UConn, the number one option you take away is Devin Gardner on a quarterback draw or the little quarterback sweep. The number 2 option you take away is Jeremy Gallen on a little bit of a pick route, or he's out there one-on-one by himself.
Paul Pasqualoni calls timeout. And this is one of the biggest plays of the game. Might turn out to be the biggest. He wants to make sure they have the right defense. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake back in East Hartford, Connecticut. UConn Huskies a surprising touchdown lead early in the fourth quarter. 11.5 to go. Michigan going for it on 4th down and 2 from the UConn 22 or 23. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down this year. Gardner out of the gun. Pulls it down to run. And he lost the ball. Got it back, but it looks like he's short of the first down. Where's the man spotting the ball? The line judge running in.
It's that right foot, left foot spot.
It was a fumble. He had to fall on it back where he has the ball now.
And he took a shot to the back, Sean.
Yeah, when Smallwood the big hit. It looks like he got a pretty good spot, but unless the yellow line is considerably off, which typically it is not, it's going to be UConn's ball on downs.
What did we say before the break? We said that the number 1 play they're going to have to stop is the quarterback draw. Coach P called the timeout. Hank Hughes says, hey, beware of the quarterback draw, and they stopped it. At least we think they stopped it.
Pretty predictable. That's been their go-to play all night. They're way short. Well, and Fanu had him wrapped up, then Smallwood came in. No doubt he was short of the first down. And Paul Pasqualoni's background's on defense. One of the smart things he did when he got the head coaching job at UConn was to keep Hank Hughes on the staff. They've played good defense around here for a while. Play action pass. Chandler Whitmer out in the flat. Caught. McQuillan, the tight end. Sean gets about 8 on first down. Shoved out by Brennan Byer.
It's a small detail, Sean, but you'd like to see McQuillan try to stay in bounds, because if you're UConn, you've been offensively challenged for the year, you want to keep that clock moving, and one way to do it is to stay in bounds.
After the game, you laid local news on most of these ABC stations over on ESPN Sports Center. All of today's scores and highlights. Max DiLorenzo puts his head down, appears to have the first down across the 32, tackled by Frank Clark. Devin Gardner getting some work on his left leg. It is a first down for the Huskies.
We don't want to play conservative if you're UConn. What you want to do is snap that ball with about 4 seconds left on that play clock. And again, if you're offensively challenged like they've been, use as much clock as you can to help yourself out. It's your friend, not your enemy.
UConn trying to pull off a stunning victory in what's been billed the biggest home game in school history. Movement along the line. A false start is going to be the call against Connecticut.
False start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jimmy Bennett, the left tackle. And it's a program, Chris, that really needs a big win to change the mood. You know, they're 5-7 the last 2 years off the appearance in the Fiesta Bowl. I think most people in this part of the country know that Paul Pasqualoni did not inherit a lot of talent. I mean, Randy Edsall did a nice job here, picked a good time to leave, because from a talent standpoint, they were in rebuilding mode when this man arrived. Paul Pasqualoni thinks they've had a couple of good recruiting classes. On 1st and 15, Whitmer, deep ball intercepted. Key mistake made by Whitmer. Desmond Morgan bringing it back, looking for blocks. All the way down to the 11-yard line. Well, we said it earlier. He's been prone to the huge mistake, and that one was a big one. First Connecticut turnover, and Morgan brought it back 30 yards.
We finally see Desmond Morgan do a good job of getting depth and into the throwing lane. Whitmer's going to pass up the run, which he had a chance to get some yards. And look at the athletic ability at the one-hand snag by Desmond Morgan, then turn it into a running back, creating field position.
Just a terrible decision. Michigan had that receiver totally surrounded, trying to force it into Jeremy Davis, by far their biggest receiving threat, without their leading receiver, Shaquem Phillips, in action tonight, out with a hamstring. Under center, Gardner. 1st and 10 from the 12. A touchdown and the extra point to tie. Toussaint turns the corner, untouched into the end zone. Second touchdown of the night for Fitz Toussaint. And on the verge of a 100-yard game. Whitmer's mistake cashed in immediately by the Wolverines.
And a defensive mistake cost them that touchdown.
Extra point up and good. 6 seconds after the interception by Morgan. Michigan has tied it with 9:49 to go. Toussaint untouched.
Saturday Night Football presented by Windows. Brought to you by Windows. Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Rush from director Ron Howard and based on the incredible true story. Rush in theaters Friday.
It's a new game. Michigan has rallied from 14 down here in the second half to tie it at 21. Chandler Whitmer threw 16 interceptions last year. Only 3 quarterbacks threw more. 14 of those 16 interceptions were in their 7 losses. And he has just thrown an awful interception into traffic with his team trying to protect a 7-point lead. Did exactly what he could not do. Matt Weil at kickoff out of the end zone. And it didn't take long for Michigan to make Whitmer and the Huskies pay for the quarterback's mistake.
Do your job. In other words, your job is outside contain and force the ball back inside. Watch number 15, Tymir Brown, jump inside, creating a short corner, cutting off the pursuit, and Fitzgerald Toussaint into the end zone untouched because of an undisciplined play by Tymir Brown. Trying to make a play when do your job first trumps trying to make a play.
Desmond Morgan's interception set it up. Brady Hoke gave him the hug. Now UConn reeling, and McCombs gets just 1 yard against the fired up Wolverine defense led by James Ross III. UConn has just 176 yards of offense in the game.
Might want to come back with a little bit of bootleg action because that's been open all night. You want to see if Michigan has that problem fixed.
Whitmer 13 out of 27 for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Michigan rushes 4 and they get there. A sack back at the 15-yard line. Chris Wormley, Mario Ojemudia put the pressure on Whitmer.
Ojemudia is going to come off the edge with speed, and this is what Greg Madison worked on, is working on the edge of a blocker. In other words, don't face him up. Pick one side of him, hit him with a swing move, and beat him with speed, and Wormley comes in to clean up Ojemudia's pressure. Good job by Greg Madison in defense getting aggressive.
Momentum is clearly shifted over to the Wolverines, trying to hold on 3rd down here and force a UConn punt into the wind. Whitmer with plenty of time. And finally flushed, and he threw it away. The general direction of John Green. And that man, Michigan has one of the very best defensive coordinators in the country. You think about where the defense was before Greg Madison got there 3 years ago, one of the worst in the country. They've been in the top 20 each of his first 2 years as defensive coordinator.
The sign of a good head coach is you go get talent in players, and even more importantly, you go get talent in coaches, and he did when he got Greg Madison.
Cole Wagner, not a good punt. Low line drive. Drew Dillio did not make a fair catch. And he is rewarded for that decision. He may go. Chopped down at the 10-yard line by the punter, Cole Wagner. Flag down back at the 25-yard line. Longest punt return of the year prior to tonight was just 9 yards. That was considerably better, but it might be coming back.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26 on the receiving team. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Jordan Lewis. So instead of first down near the 10-yard line, they're going to bring the ball back to the 40-yard line of UConn.
And that'll drive Brady Hoke nuts, because the #1 rule on a punt return, if the ball is past you, never block behind the ball.
Watch the bottom right.
There's number 26 coming in and blocking somebody that's not going to make the play. You have to be smart, and that'll be coached up, and he will not make that mistake again. That's discipline. Don't block behind the ball on any type of return.
1st and 10, Michigan. They have an excellent field goal kicker. They want more. They want 7. They might get it. Toussaint shoved out of bounds. Malafanu might have saved a touchdown. They're going to mark Toussaint out at the 26 for a gain of 14.
Michigan offensive line is responding to the challenge of their coach. They sustained blocks, and Toussaint did a good job of being patient and trusting his line of sustained blocks, see the hole, and burst through for an outstanding game.
He's over 100 yards rushing now. They're going to stick with it. Finds another crease. Gets thrown down by Smallwood. He didn't like it. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Nothing wrong with that. Both guys were in bounds, and still to this day, although it may change one day, the object is to take the man to the ground. That's a physical play and a clean play.
They were in bounds, and he's starting the motion of throwing him to the ground. 12 tackles for Smallwood, living up to his reputation tonight. 2nd down and 4. They're starting to find the rhythm on the run. For the most part, running left in the direction of the All-American tackle Taylor Lewan. Short gain there, just inside the 20. Smallwood and Angelo Pruitt on the tackle. Under 7 minutes to go. Michigan poised to take the lead.
Yeah, if I'm Al Borges, I don't do any of that trap blocking scheme where you have the pullers. What's been successful? Straight ahead, zone blocking, fire off the line of scrimmage, push them back, and let Fitz Toussaint do his work. No misdirections. Straight at him.
Third down. The short 4. Will be another design run for Gardner. Nope, he throws and Gallon's open. Has a first down inside the 12, yanked down by Tymir Brown. Good call, with the Huskies so geared now to think that Gardner's going to run it.
Yeah, and there's confusion right there. You see everybody looking around, and nobody's going to take the flat defender. You have to be able on 3rd down to lock up man-to-man on 3rd and short and take those little routes away. That was created by confusion and formation confusion created by Michigan on that UConn defense.
4 catches for Gallon. That's 9 straight games dating back to last year with at least 4 catches. Toussaint trying to turn the corner again. Lost the ball. And Michigan pounces on it as it goes across the boundary. A.J. Williams, the tight end. Looked like by the time he got it, it was out of bounds anyway. And Gerald Toussaint is not getting up.
There's a good crackback block by Chesson, creating that short corner. And Williams comes in and puts that hit on it, pops the ball out. But what they go back to, Sean, they stop the misdirection. They go back that was working straight off the line of scrimmage and knock them off the ball.
Toussaint was injured late last year in a game against Iowa. Season-ending leg injuries. Worked hard to come back from that. Good to see him bounce back onto his feet.
He's a tough runner for his size. Sticks it up in there with passion and purpose.
Grady Hoke taking him over to the sideline. Is there any doubt how much that man cares about his players?
He's an outstanding coach. He really is.
And a great guy.
He won everywhere he's been. Ball State, San Diego State.
Well, they had been miserable at San Diego State for a decade. He immediately turned that program around. So here's the freshman Derek Green in. Who hasn't had a carry tonight. Will they give it to him on 2nd and 9? No, they fake it to him. Gardner being pursued, gets away, and he's down just short of the first down. Ran away from Jesse Joseph, but could not escape Jefferson Asheru. And here comes another 3rd down and 2 as we tick down to 5 minutes to go.
A good decision by Devin Gardner to keep this now. The only thing you'd like him to do if you're a Michigan fan, that ball's loose. It's out there and it's dangling. Protect it. Coach Holtz always talks about the 3 pressure points: hand, arm, and elbow. Pressuring that ball up against the body.
3rd and 2 from the 4. They're in chip shot field goal range, but they want a 7-point lead. Toussaint back in. Gardner in trouble, just throws it away. Asheru again. And here comes the field goal unit. Brendan Gibbons, one of the best kickers in the country, had made 16 straight field goals, the school record, before he missed from 45 last week against Akron to end that streak.
Keep an eye on the footing now. Footing's been a problem. You want to watch that plant foot to make sure it's secure. Some of that grass has been coming up like your pitching wedge divots.
Trudilio is the holder, and the kick is good. And Michigan reclaims the lead for the first time since they were ahead 7-0. 4:36 to go here in East Hartford. Tomorrow morning, get your NFL Sunday started right. 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Sunday NFL Countdown with Chris Berman and company. All the latest news right up until the kickoffs. And before you set your lineups, fantasy football. Catch fantasy football now, 11 a.m. That's on ESPN 2. Kinds of celebrities here tonight. Ray Allen, former UConn basketball star, NBA champion with the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Right behind him is Ward Manuel, athletic director at UConn, and a former football player at Michigan, Bo Schembechler, athletic administrator at Michigan as well. Matt Weil kicks it through the back of the end zone. Time for another Pacific Life game summary. UConn had a 21-7 lead. Michigan has come roaring back. And the Werber's thrown for 2 touchdowns, but that interception that he threw not long ago was huge. UConn in this quarter has 2 possessions for a total of 2 net yards and only 167 yards for the game. They've been leaning on the defense all night. They're going to pull off the upset. The offense has to do something, and in all likelihood has to do it right now. Whitmer throws a fastball caught by Deshaun Fox out to the 39-yard line, gain of 14. 4.5 minutes to go. 2 timeouts for each team. Whitmer started his career at Illinois, at a redshirt year there. The coach who recruited him, the offensive coordinator Mike Loxley, left and went to New Mexico, so he left. Went to Butler Community College in Kansas, then came here to Connecticut. They had a dire need for a starting quarterback. They handed off to Fox, hoping for blocks on the corner. He got 6 on first down to the 45-yard line. Courtney Avery and Thomas Gordon to stop, and we're under 4 minutes to go in regulation.
Yeah, and a good job of substitution by Coach Wiest, bringing in Hippolyte for a lead blocker, taking out the smaller McCombs. Outstanding matchups. Now he's in there, probably not to run, but more of a pass protector because he's a little bigger in stature.
Wiest would like to go more up-tempo, as they did at the University of Cincinnati, where he coached in recent years. They just don't have enough wide receivers to play at that tempo. Hippolyte gets the handoff up the middle. He is a first down. Cross midfield to the Michigan 48. Under 3.5 to go. A gain of 7. Chad Kristen's already missed from 46. Might have another chance to tie it. His career long is 50. Bear in mind he is going into the wind, and this natural grass surface is a little bit shaky. You see some of the big chunks that have been ripped up tonight. Whitmer, well, he had a little more time to stand in there. He decided not to, then throws on the run, threw it away.
Getting a little nervous and a little bit of a happy feet. Not only did he get out of the pocket a little too quick, but the other thing is he gave up about 5 yards, which he could have picked up running the football.
To throw it to no one. Yeah. Just threw it away. And it looked like if he had tucked it under and run, he had a chance to pick up a few yards, as you said. They thought in the first game he was much too quick to vacate the pocket and was dancing around all over the place. They felt he was much better last week at that against Maryland. They being the coaches. Quick pop to Fox, in trouble and swung down. Back at the 49-yard line, Blake Countess, who's recovered very nicely from that knee injury suffered in the season opener against Alabama last year that cost him the rest of the year.
He's a luxury for Coach Madison to have back on his defense because of that. And one of the things that Coach Madison wanted to do coming into this game was challenge wide receivers with their corners. And if you notice, they've been playing a little tighter coverage than they have in their previous ball games.
3rd and 13, 2 timeouts left, 2:20 to go. They've converted 1 third down tonight. And a false start is going to make this one even more difficult.
False start, offense, number 49. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And if Paul Pasqualone's team goes down to defeat, Chris, it's almost a textbook example of an underdog team that had a chance to win, did a lot of things right, but did enough little things to cost them that chance at an upset.
Giving up the 3rd and 16 and a missed field goal. Now I'm playing for 4 downs here, so I'm not trying to get all the yards right now.
Especially with only the 2 timeouts. If you had all 3, perhaps you definitely would punt it away. Clark is in pursuit of Whitmer, who's trying to stay up and he can't. Frank Clark's been outstanding tonight. The junior from Cleveland out of Glenville High School. Whitmer tried valiantly to stay up, but he could not. Clark was just too strong.
Again, they've been looking for a pass rush all night, and right there they're working on number 75, Xavier Hemingway, the replacement for Kevin Friend. Frank Clark.
Loss. Their starting right tackle out tonight with an ankle injury. Timeout called by UConn. Only 1 left. 4th and forever upcoming.
I'm Robert Flores with this AT&T All-America Player of the Week nominee. And how about the collection of running backs for Wisconsin for their efforts in the win over Purdue? 45 carries, 375 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Wisconsin takes on Ohio State Saturday on ABC next week. You can text VOTE to 34763. Sean.
Will be one of the big games of next weekend. We come back here. UConn used another timeout. So they've used both the remaining timeouts to try to come up with a 4th and 29 to keep their hopes alive. If they don't convert here, for all intents and purposes, it's ball game over. Stay tuned. Right after the game tonight, Robert will have the Ford wrap-up.
One play I would try to run, and I think it has a better chance of working than just tossing the ball all around, catching it. I run a Hail Mary. At least you have 3 guys down there trying to make a play. Who get a bounce.
Michigan has scored 17 unanswered points. See how they play it defensively. They put any heat on Whitmer. Whitmer throws deep down the middle. It is caught by Fox, but he's short of the 1st down by about 3 yards. Blake Countess and Jared Wilson stopped him. And Michigan takes over on downs, and it seems that for the 2nd week in a row, they're going to survive a major scare as a huge favorite.
It's a nice throw by Whitmer, but a good job of the safeties protecting that yellow line. Not getting too far past that 1st down marker, able to come up and make a play and a solid tackle to prevent UConn from getting a 1st down.
Huskies needed 29. They got 26, and they cannot stop the clock. Gardner takes the knee. With his win last week in Chicago, Matt Kenseth leads the chase. Trying to pull away from Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Find out if he can do that tomorrow. Get a little breathing room in the chase. 1 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Their beautiful Loudon, New Hampshire. The Sylvania 300 as the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues. It's also live on Watch ESPN. Gallen back just in case something should go wrong with the snap here. And Michigan will have less than 300 yards of offense. Sloppy performance, but in the end the biggest mistake was the one made by Chandler Whitmer.
Yeah, a costly mistake. You're right, where he could have tucked it and run. And if you want to be optimistic, the way Michigan came back in the 2nd half, ground and pound, and that's one thing that they were trying to get going, and it appears they might have a little momentum heading into the Big Ten season.
They're going to go to 4-0. The 2 close calls. But as they said after last week's win, it's true. It's better than a huge upset loss.
It's always better to learn lessons when you win as opposed to learn them when you lose.
They have to cut down on the turnovers, figure out a way to avoid so many negative yardage plays. And UConn now 0-3 for the first time since 2001. Brady Hoke with a lot of young players on the road for the first time this season. Made plays when he had to. And Paul Pasqualoni with a chance to quiet some of his critics, those who are calling for his scalp already in year 3. Shane's there with Brady Hoke.
Well, Coach, you got the W. Describe what you saw out of your players here tonight.
Well, you know, they kept fighting, and that's number one, and that's the important thing. I thought the second half was much different than the first half, obviously, and defense played with a lot of energy for 4 quarters. Offensively, we've got a lot of things we got to be able to do better.
One of those things is the turnovers. How do you get those under control?
Well, I wish I had the answer, but, you know, that was really a problem last year for us as a team, and so far it's been a problem this year.
Coach, last Sunday, the guys spent the Sunday in pads, full contact practice. How are they going to spend tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we're giving them off. We'll get back into Ann Arbor about 4 a.m. So, and we're coming up on a bye week, which is probably pretty good for us, getting ready for the Big Ten season.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Sean, Chris?
And just 206 yards for UConn offensively. Good performance by the Michigan defense. The big play, the interception by Desmond Morgan. Michigan goes to 4-0 for the second week in a row. A big sigh of relief breathed by Brady Hoke. Final score, Michigan 24, Connecticut 21. Hope you'll be tuned in next Saturday night for ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Wisconsin and Ohio State. For Chris Spielman, Shannon Spakin, our terrific crew, Sean McDonough so long from Connecticut. Here's Robert.